Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm sorry that I'm not able to be here in person. I have a training, but my name's Aaron Roe. I'm the state botanist and T&E program lead for BLM Utah. And I'm going to give a quick presentation on updates in policy and projects that have been completed by BLM Utah during the 2024 calendar year. With some quick updates on HQ and national level policy, and published the final public land rule on May 9, 2024, and went into effect on June 10, 2024. The rule and implementation documents, including IMs, are available at blm.gov/about/laws-and-regulations/conservation-and-landscape-health-rule. Or you can search public land rule BLM and it'll come up. During this last year, the BLM completed and published the update to Manual Section 6840, the Special Status Species Management. The previous version was published in 2009, was heavily focused on Section 7A2, the interagency consultation, while this one puts focus on 7A1 and the proactive conservation and recovery of special status species. Completed updates to Manual Section 6720, the Aquatic Resources Management, Water, Riparian, Wetland, and Fisheries Resources. This superseded several previous sections, the Riparian Wetland Area Management, Soil, Water, and Air Management, and Aquatic Resources Management Manual sections. The plant community. We all know that wetlands are unique habitats within our dry western ecosystems. Objectives within this section include A, protecting and restoring the physical and ecological processes of functioning riparian and wetland areas, aquatic habitats, and water resources. B, protecting and restoring the chemical, physical, and biological integrity of surface water and groundwater. C, ensuring the water is legally and physically available for beneficial use, including protection and restoration activities. And D, proactively protecting and restoring riparian, wetland, and aquatic habitats to ensure the presence, abundance, and diversity of healthy, self-sustaining, and desirable riparian, wetland, and aquatic species and other wildlife and plant populations to depend on these habitats, including special status species. Note these emphasis in italics are directly from the manual section. Quick state updates. Wise, there's been quite a few changes. We've had multiple people move on from existing positions. Jerry Wireman, who was in Vernal as a biotech plant, moved out of that position. We also lost two of our PCRP leads, Sandra Robbins from the Vernal botanist, and Dave Whitaker, the Phil Moore range management specialist who covered rare plants and native seed. We also hired Matt Wang to be the botanist for Price Field Office / the Green River District. However, he was afforded the opportunity to move over to Red Butte Gardens and could not pass up that position, and they definitely picked up a good person there. Wise, here at the state office, we've continued to work on the Utah BLM sensitive species list update. This is well overdue, partially due to taking longer for me to originally prepare it, and then activities necessary to move it through. At this point, it's awaiting final approval. There are a few changes from when I showed this last year. The number of, we have 13 species being removed from the relative to the current list because they're more stable, or the threats are low, or the threats are lower than was originally expected when they were added to the list. Species that either have taxonomic questions, or they've been subsumed into other taxon that are not as rare as what was originally expected for that taxon. One was removed because it has very little occupied habitat on BLM lands, and we have minimal ability to affect its overall trajectory. We'll have 52 species that are new to the list, 82 continue on the list, for a total of 134 species. Note that this is just plants. We're also does include animals, including multiple new invertebrates, changes in vertebrate community. From rare species, I want to give a little overview of the work that's done in the Seed Success Program in 2024. There were 4 contract collection crews, 2 in the Colorado Plateau, in Price and Vernal, 1 in the Great Basin, in Cedar City, and 1 that extended into the St. George field office that was working across the eastern Mojave. There was 4 agreement crews that were managed cooperatively with our sister agencies. 1 managed with Fish and Wildlife Service that worked in the Salt Lake field office, and then 3 that worked cooperatively with National Park Service across the Colorado Plateau. Additionally, collections were made by Rim to Rim Restoration in the Moab area. It was a very fruitful year. 108 collections were made, 38 from the Great Basin, 701 from the Colorado Plateau, and 3 from the Mojave portion of Utah. Majority of them were made in the adjacent states. There's 595 new scouting locations made across multiple species, with 200 locations identified in the Great Basin, 368 on the Colorado Plateau, and 8 in the Mojave. And 74 populations were revisited that had previously been identified as potential for collections or as collection sites, but that were not ready in previous years. Through some quick rare plant projects that were completed by each of the field offices. There's several that I'm not going to discuss in depth that were done by the state office. BLM has continued to support the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in delisting and downlisting support. We provide support to the Natural Heritage Program, to Mindy's program, and all the great work her crew is able to do, and provided support to the conservation agreement for the 3 Grand County astragalus species. First, in Cedar City, we continued to do work on super rare Terraria haydenii. We attempted to do a contract grow out for that species. However, found that a majority of the plants that were produced did not survive. They dampened off due to the change greenhouse conditions they were raised in. However, we are finding that there was, from the existing outplanting that occurred at the outplanting site, not one of the 2 natural populations, there was in 2024 31 individuals that included 21 natural recruits. Additionally, the population of the 1 Eriogonum artificius site that is known to occur was accurately mapped out at 42.6 acres. And the work on random sites within the population were measured to determine an estimate of the actual total population. And that turned out to be turned out to be 59,081 plus or minus. The east in Richfield, Dustin continued monitoring that he's done annually, including monitoring of the 2 monitoring sites for Townsendii aprica, including the type specimen site that's been monitored for 30 years. Factory Butte Special Recreation Management Area cactus population and use compliance monitoring, and Sclerocactus wrightii continued range-wide monitoring of 32 locations that are established This is just a small set of the work he did. He also looked at Townsendia loanus and Pediocactus. George, our wildlife biologist, Stephanie Taylor, continued coordinating with Cody Rominger, working with him on drone censusing monitoring. She also did seed collection of Astragalus ampularioides for grow out. It was only able to be collected from one site this year. Other sites did not produce enough seed for collections. They established a new interagency agreement with the Zion National Park to grow Shivwits milkfish. She led weed pools within habitat for Shivwits with volunteers, and she completed and hopes to continue herbivore monitoring using camera traps on the same species. Up in Vernal, our botanist provided support to the Pennsylvania Conservation Agreement team and the commitments made by the BLM in support of those two species, including monitoring. They completed monitoring for other species, including Hesperodontis suffratensis and Spiranthes diluvialis, and provided support for the demographic monitoring and habitat monitoring for the Uinta Basin sclerocactus. In Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument, we have pleasure now of having a botanist, Christina Prinz, well into working in a full season. She completed monitoring of all TNE plant species known from the monument, specifically Cyclodenia, Spiranthes diluvialis, and Viscera tumulosa. She developed and piloted a new monitoring protocol to better assess population trends for the Viscera tumulosa population. Collected with Red Butte Gardens, Viscera tumulosa, that will be used for germination experiments and seed banking. They also surveyed for other TNE species with potential on the monument, including Asclepias welshii and Pedicactus sileri. However, they found no populations of either. And visited BLM sensitive species, including Spiralcia, Fumariensis, and Astragalus striatiflorus. Field office. Our staff, along with our partners, continued survey and monitoring for Asclepias welshii. They have found that this year populations are up, which is always a great sign. And they continued the repeat census of the fence population of silurs, Pedicactus sileri, that's east of the town of Kanab. And Canton Country District, which covers Moab and Monticello, Chris Quirin did a huge amount of work, including, but not limited to, completing surveys and monitoring for numerous species with the assistance of the Utah Conservation Corps, including identifying a new element occurrence for Lomatium latiolobum near Ken's Lake diversion from Mill Creek, surveys for Cyclodenia and Mentzelia schultziorum in Castle Valley, Professor Valley, and Onion Creek, recorded the extent of Pritala speculocola population in Pole Canyon, assisted with the implementation of the 3 milkfish conservation agreement with our partners, and made collections of 47 Cyclodenia seeds that were provided to Red Butte Gardens for storage and potential work in the future, which is always really cool to see a Cyclodenia when it produces seed. The biologists there assisted with monitoring and seed collection for Phacelia argillaceae, and as planned, this early stage that will be implemented this year, weed treatments within the vicinity of occupied Phacelia argillaceae. Unfortunately, there is significant weed encroachment coming up from the highway and Spanish Fork Creek below. So hopefully we can get a good handle on it this year. The staff also continued the annual monitoring of Astragalus anserinus up in the northwest corner of the state. It's unfortunate I'm not able to be there in person or even to be there on the call today to answer questions. However, please feel free to reach out to me. The easiest way to reach out is via email at aroe@blm.gov. I'll try and get back to you that as soon as possible, and I can give you a call or email back, whichever works for you. Usually just sending an email though, make sure that I don't end up getting it lost. Hope everyone has the great rest of the day, and I hope to catch up with everyone soon. Thank you so much, and have a great day.